One of the biggest expenses of traveling to Italy is the flight. But there are ways to save money on airfare and find cheap flights to Italy. Here are some tips to help you get the best deal. The first tip is to be flexible with your dates and destinations. If you can travel during the off-season months, such as January, February, and November, you can find lower prices and fewer crowds. You can also compare different airports and cities in Italy and see which ones have cheaper flights. For example, you might find a better deal flying to Milan than Rome, or to Treviso than Venice. The second tip is to use a website that compares fares from different airlines and travel agencies. Some of these websites also send you price alerts when a fare drops or rises. Two of my favorite websites for this are Kayak and Expedia. You can also use Skyscanner, which shows you the cheapest month and day to fly to Italy. The third tip is to book your flight well in advance or at the last minute. Booking early can help you secure a lower price and avoid surcharges. Booking at the last minute can help you take advantage of last-minute deals and cancellations. However, this strategy is riskier and less reliable, so use it with caution. Another big expense of traveling to Italy is the accommodation. But there are also ways to save money on hotels and other lodging options in Italy. Here are some tips to help you find cheap accommodation in Italy. The first tip is to choose a lesser-known nearby city over a more popular one. This way, you can enjoy the same region and attractions, but pay less for your stay. For example, you could choose to stay in the small canal city of Treviso instead of Venice, or in the charming town of Salerno instead of Sorrento on the Amalfi Coast. The second tip is to research alternatives to hotels, such as hostels, B&Bs, agriturismos, convents, or apartments. These options can offer more value, comfort, and authenticity than hotels, and sometimes include breakfast or other amenities. You can use websites like Veneer, TripAdvisor, or Italurail to find and compare these alternatives. The third tip is to think outside of the location box, but carefully. Sometimes, staying a bit further away from the city center or the main attractions can save you money, but you have to consider the transport costs and time. You also have to make sure that the area is safe and convenient. For example, you could stay at a farm just outside Venice and enjoy a tranquil and lush environment, but you would need a car or a bus to get to the city center. These are some of the tips that I use to find cheap flights and accommodation options in Italy. I hope they help you plan your trip and enjoy the slow life in this beautiful country. One of the best ways to enjoy the slow life in Italy is to use public transportation and local services to save money and time. In this section, I will share with you some tips and tricks on how to do that. First of all, let's talk about trains. Italy has a well-developed and efficient train system that connects the major cities and regions. You can choose between high-speed trains, which are faster but more expensive, and regional trains, which are slower but cheaper. If you book your tickets online in advance, you can find some great deals and discounts on both types of trains. You can also buy a rail pass that allows you unlimited travel in a certain period of time or in a certain region. Trains are a great way to enjoy the scenery and relax while traveling. Secondly, let's talk about buses. Buses are another option for getting around Italy, especially within cities and towns. You can find many bus companies that offer local and long-distance services. Buses are usually cheaper than trains, but they may be less comfortable and reliable. You can buy your tickets from shops, machines, or online. You need to validate your ticket before boarding the bus, or you may face a fine. Buses are a good way to experience the local culture and meet new people. Thirdly, let's talk about metro and tram. Some big cities in Italy have metro and tram systems that are convenient and fast. You can use them to avoid traffic jams and reach the main attractions and landmarks. Metro and tram tickets are usually valid for a certain amount of time or for a certain number of trips. You can buy them from machines or kiosks at the stations. You also need to validate your ticket before entering the metro or tram, or you may face a fine. Metro and tram are a good way to explore the city and discover hidden gems. Finally, let's talk about ferry and boat. If you want to travel along the coast or visit some islands, you can use ferry and boat services that are available in many ports and harbors. You can find different types of boats, from large ferries to small motorboats, depending on your budget and preference. You can buy your tickets from offices or online. You need to check the schedule and weather conditions before boarding the boat, or you may face delays or cancellations. Ferry and boat are a good way to enjoy the sea breeze and admire the beauty of nature. As you can see, there are many ways to use public transportation and local services in Italy to save money and time. By doing so, you will also have a more authentic and memorable experience of the slow life in Italy. How to explore the culture, cuisine, and nature of Italy at a slow pace. Italy is a country rich in history, art, and gastronomy. It offers many opportunities to discover its diverse and beautiful landscapes, from the Alps to the Mediterranean Sea. But how can you enjoy Italy at a slow pace, without rushing from one attraction to another? Here are some tips to help you savor the Italian way of life. First of all, choose the right season to visit Italy. The best time to travel is in spring or autumn, when the weather is mild, the crowds are smaller, and the prices are lower. You can also avoid the peak holiday months of July and August, when most Italians go on vacation and many places are closed or overcrowded. Secondly, travel by train whenever possible. Italy has an extensive and efficient rail network that connects all major cities and many smaller towns. You can save money by booking your tickets in advance online or using regional passes. Traveling by train is also more relaxing and eco-friendly than driving or flying. You can admire the scenery from your window, chat with locals, and arrive at your destination refreshed and ready to explore. Thirdly, stay outside the city centers and go for day trips. You can find cheaper and more authentic accommodations in rural areas or smaller towns, such as agriturismi, farm stays, or bed and breakfasts. You can also enjoy the local food and culture more easily, as well as the nature and tranquility. From there, you can take short train rides or buses to visit the nearby attractions, such as Rome, Venice, or Florence. Fourthly, take part in free or low-cost activities that showcase the Italian culture, cuisine, and nature. For example, you can hike along the Cinque Terre Trails, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that consists of 5 colorful villages perched on the cliffs overlooking the sea. Visit the Vatican City, the smallest independent state in the world and the home of the Pope. You can admire St. Peter's Basilica, the Sistine Chapel, and many museums for free on the last Sunday of every month. Explore the ancient ruins of Pompeii, a Roman city that was buried by a volcanic eruption in 79 CE. You can walk around the streets, houses, temples, and baths that were preserved by the ash. Taste the regional specialties of Italy, such as pizza in Naples, limoncello on the Amalfi Coast, or Chianti wine in Tuscany. You could also join cooking classes, wine tours, or food festivals to learn more about the Italian cuisine and its traditions. Discover the artistic heritage of Italy by visiting its many churches, museums, and galleries. You can find masterpieces by famous artists such as Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, or Caravaggio. Some of these places are free or have reduced fees on certain days or hours. Finally, embrace the Italian concept of la dolce vita, the sweet life. This means enjoying life's simple pleasures, such as a cup of espresso in a piazza, a gelato on a sunny day, or a stroll along a canal. It also means being friendly and sociable with others, whether they are locals or fellow travelers. Italians are known for their warmth and hospitality, so don't be shy to strike up a conversation or ask for help. By following these tips, you can explore Italy at a slow pace and enjoy its culture, cuisine, and nature to the fullest. You will also have a more memorable and meaningful experience than if you rush through your itinerary. Buon viaggio!